Hey dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about a sad issue and something that has come up recently. And people online have been discussing this. I have a lot of thoughts. This is the rumor that BTS will disband after going to the military, and what RM and Big Hit may have admitted to this already. This is a rumor going around. I wanted to clarify. We also have our queen Beyonce's reaction to Jungkook, what her thoughts are. So grab your dumpling tea spilling mug merch and let's get into the tea. If you're new here and you're interested in this type of stuff, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified anytime a new video drops. And if you're a hater, let's be first, leave your hate comment. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell also so you can be first to do so. Now let's jump into it. The first thing I want to get into is the whole military enlistment thing. This has been the topic of conversation for a while, and people were constantly wondering how BTS would go to the military and what order they'd go, and if they would all go together. Recently, the topic of BTS disbanding after the military had become a much bigger topic of conversation, which at this point wasn't something that occurred to me. Each member had talked about wanting to do this for a long time and keep doing this until they were old. We've talked about the option of any of them going into acting and all that, which is totally possible, but they don't need to disband to do that. Let's say Jin wants to go into acting, he can do so while BTS takes a break after the military, which I hope they don't go right back into dancing and singing after the military. That's too much. But the topic of BTS disbanding isn't something that was never talked about by the members themselves. Back in 2018, the members had heavily considered disbanding. RM came up at an award show and talked about this, and a lot of people thought it might have to do with the military enlistment and that afterwards they were done, simply because they were all at that age where they were eligible to be enlisted. I don't know if this was even possible at the time because their contract was not up, but maybe they were talking about disbanding once it was. It seemed like they had hit a wall. I don't think they hated each other, but being with someone for 5 years, sometimes you just need to go away. It's extremely difficult to keep up the pace that they have kept up with, and to be quite honest, they can't do it now. But it was not sustainable. You can't keep working this much for your entire life. But above all this, they were probably burnt out. They talked about their mental health, and you can imagine what their mental health is. Yes, they have experienced things that we might never experience in our lifetime, and done things we can only dream of. But they also don't get to do things that we take for granted, like going to the movie theater, or just eating out at a restaurant without fear of being harassed. They never stopped making music for a very long time, meaning they weren't like making an album, disappearing for years, and then coming back. They were creating albums one after the other. So not only did they not have time to enjoy normal things, they couldn't enjoy normal things. When a celebrity gets mobbed on the street or harassed to the point of stalkers or paparazzi, this usually only happens when the celebrity is making a comeback. This is when the celebrity's publicist and team is working hard getting media coverage and interviews, and it's when these paparazzis want to get photos so they can sell to these news articles that are writing about BTS or magazine writing about BTS. And then of course all of that brings a lot of attention to the boys, and people find out about them and mob them on the street. But during a non-comeback season, celebrities don't usually get mobbed. They usually can do their day-to-day thing without too many people knowing, and as I said, BTS never got a break to not be in a comeback. So they burnt themselves out really quickly, and to the point where they're probably thinking, I have all this money but no time to date or have friends, what's the point? They probably behind the scenes got into some arguments because when they talked about this at the Mnet Awards, they were crying. And if it was simply just being burnt out, I think they could just take a break, but maybe there was a lot of internal conflict. But like family and like a lot of our friends, you work it out. You talk about it. Maybe regroup and regather and figure it out. That is what they did, which is why they're still together. People also thought that going to the military would be them taking some time off from each other and being able to regroup to see if disbandment is what they wanted. But ultimately, they were able to figure that out without spending time away from each other. The conversation came up of each member individually leaving BTS for a while due to the military. So Jin goes first, and then it goes down the line until Jungkook. And people were theorizing that we might not have a full BTS for a long time. So just 6 members for a long time. If I may be controversial for a second, this is honestly what I would prefer. I know a lot of people have different opinions, but I would prefer 6 at a time, or them doing solo work until BTS is BTS again. Maybe don't call the group BTS when it is 6, you know, like Super B or something, I don't know. There were rumors going around that people who were talking about BTS going one by one are spreading misinformation and all that. But as I am seeing, it's just analysts assuming they'll go together. I don't see Big Hit's statement confirming this. All I know, they are all predicting BTS to join by 2022, middle of 2022. We still don't know when they'll actually go, and no one has actually addressed this. Although them all going together and it just being a quick 1 or 2 years is definitely still a good idea, and I trust that we probably won't even notice that they're gone. Knowing the boys, they might take their time off to live stream or post something and give us updates on what is going on with them. Similar to how we used to get one comeback a year from Blackpink, it would probably be the same. I don't think they'll stop using social media, so no, I don't think they'll disband, and I don't think they will consider it after the military. I am loving the support I am seeing BTS getting, and I feel like they are finally making headway in America, and I think they might feel this way too. And there's a lot of celebrities that are coming out and showing support to BTS, and I don't want them to lose this momentum. It makes me sad to think they might lose their spot if they decide to leave for a year, and I think this is what they're scared of too. At least I believe so, which is why they so aggressively release music, which I love, by the way. One person that I was hoping for a long time to see and hear a reaction from was Beyonce. Beyonce fans are probably a close second to ARMY, and the amount of dedication those supporters have given Beyonce, the Bayhive. I remember in the beginning of BTS American comeback, maybe around Boy With Love and Idol, BTS was often compared to Beyonce in terms of fan base. And so I definitely wanted to see what Beyonce thought about the group. Beyonce also doesn't have a social media and seems to refuse to jump on it. So we don't actually know what is going on in her life. But apparently the producers for the song My Time, his name is Sleep D's, held a little Ask Me Anything on Reddit. And the question began to flood in on the song My Time, and I guess his experience working on the track. Now Sleep D's is obviously a great producer, as you can tell from the song My Time, but also I believe he has worked with a lot of great singers and is at least close with a lot of great singers, one of them being Queen Beyonce. So apparently an ARMY wrote that they heard a little rumor that Beyonce had listened to the song My Time and loved it, and didn't know where they heard it, but wanted Sleep D's to confirm. Sleep D's immediately said that the ARMY probably heard that because it came out of his mouth and he said it, and he is doubling down on it to confirm that it is true. Beyonce apparently reacted to the track and said it was amazing. What's the most beautiful about this is the fact that My Time wasn't a single, it was just an ARMY favorite, and it was simply just carried by the fandom, meaning a lot of people who don't know BTS probably don't know that song because it wasn't heavily pushed, but it still managed to reach a large audience even without promotion, which shows how good the song is. But it's so refreshing and beautiful to hear support from someone who has literally been in the industry her entire life and almost give a stamp of approval. A lot of singers almost want to try hard to not acknowledge BTS, and I don't know why. BTS, at least, I think, is not sitting on social media keeping up with all the current trends. So the fact that the song made its way to her shows how good the song is and how much impact BTS is having right now on the American market. I do hope to see maybe a collab. I would die. But more important, what I would really love and what would solidify their success in America, especially if they can do this before the military, would be a Super Bowl performance. I am not even hoping for a full dedicated BTS halftime show, but give me at least a BTS featured in a halftime show. Like whoever performs, just have BTS on there for one song. I think that is ultimately how they'll reach everyone in America, and at that point, there won't be a single person in the world who doesn't know who they are, and that Asians are a force to be reckoned with. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave it down in the comment section down below. This video, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm featuring this comment right here. Thank you so much for leaving comments. And as always, I do have a Patreon if you want to go over there and check that out. I have a lot of videos over there that I can't really post on here. This is due to copyright or getting taken down, so I do keep it over there on my Patreon. You can get videos over there like music video reactions, performance reactions, ship reactions. You can also recommend things you would like to see over there. We currently have over 400 videos that are already up on there that you can see the moment you sign up. We react to fan cafes as well as BTS TV shows and all that. So if you're interested in any of that, there's also a 10% deal going on over there. So make sure you go over there and check it out. Link is in the top description down below. There's also a video over there that kind of goes over how you can support this channel even more if you'd like to do that. That video is on the front page and it's free to watch. With that said, there's two videos that will appear up on screen at the end of this video. So click on one of those and I'll see you over there. Bye.